I wanted to look at a very small Android app that showed an image from the internet using the Picasso library. The code can be found at the URL seen. I thought this time I would sort of do more work constructing the project from the file, since there's a lot of work here in the Gradle and in the Android manifest. So I have two files. If you go to that URL, you'll find these two files zipped up. And I'm starting here with a sort of hello world, just basic hello world. And I will open these up and say Notepad++. Let's just start with the activity main XML. That's the easy one. Copy that. Control A, Control C. I'm going to paste that over the resources layout activity main and put that in code and paste that over this. Okay, and what do I have? I have a text view that just says Georges Braque, and then I have two image files with an ID, IV Braque and IV Braque 2. So not much to write home about. Text view, image view, image view. That's it for that. And now the main activity, I'm going to copy that in, but then I'm going to have comments in that code of the other things I have to do. So I'm going to copy the activity, the main activity KT, and I'm going to highlight everything except the package. I named it the file. I may have named the file differently, and so I don't want the package to be in there. And there's also a package, I believe, in the manifest, so I have to make sure I don't copy, just copy what I need from the manifest rather than the whole thing. So this is the only part of the main activity that I don't want, is the package. I'm going to paste that in here. And now I'm seeing some red, so this is not sort of ready to run. And I give here I'm using, here's a link to Picasso. And then I'm saying that I am using this image from the internet. That's what Picasso does, is helps me grab, instead of putting images in Drawable, we are grabbing them straight off the internet and showing them in our app. And so therefore in our app is directly sort of putting things from the internet into our app. And so we need that permission. So I'm going to copy this, which is just a comment here in the main activity Kotlin, and go over to the manifest in Android Studio. And I'm not going to overwrite. I didn't give you a whole manifest to overwrite the manifest. Instead, I'm just going to add here the permission. And one thing to note here is that the manifest does refer to the package. So if I did overwrite the whole manifest, I might have a package conflict. So, okay. So now I've given myself permissions in the Android manifest for the app to access the internet. Okay, but I'm still not done. I'm still seeing red. And now I have to indicate that in the Gradle. So when we import things, we have sort of some standard Android Kotlin things, or maybe some standard Java things that aren't there normally, but that we can easily access, and by just importing them. But Picasso takes a little more work. And so before we can import it, we must edit the Gradle. So I'm going to copy this line, implementation, and then go over to the Gradle scripts over here. I'm going to go to the second one, the module build.gradle, and scroll down to here, down here in the dependencies, we have these implementations. I'm going to paste that implementation here of Picasso. Whenever I touch something in the Gradle, then I'm going to need to resync the app. So I'm now resyncing the app. And then I'm going to move back over to the Kotlin, and then it updates itself. And now the red has gone away. Now this import is understood because it was explained by the Gradle. So I have my imports, an image view, and I'm not even pressing a button. So I have an image view and a text view, and I don't do anything with the text view. It just says George Brock, and I'm done. So it's pure design. The images are coded. They are coded in the onCreate. So when I open this, so you saw at the very beginning that it was hello world. I should stop it and now start it. And that is some old project that I was working on with checkboxes. And now there are the images. And you saw ever so briefly that green thing. So I'll say what that was. But here are these two images of Georges Braque paintings. That's a bit of a joke on my part that the name of the library is Picasso, and Georges Braque is somebody who worked with him. Okay. So here is the code on Create. I connect the image view that was in design to one here in code. I establish the URL, just some Wikimedia, very, very, very long URL for a JPEG, for an image. And then here's the Picasso code, sort of a fairly simple Picasso code. Picasso get load the URL and load that into this image view. Okay, in version 2, I'm doing just a couple more things. The same thing, connect interface to code, establish a URL, and then here's Picasso. And here I chained it horizontally, but here I'm chaining it vertically. That doesn't make much difference. Picasso get load URL to. Now here is probably that green thing that you saw at the beginning. The placeholder, you usually use something from Drawable, and that is an image that you will place in the image view until you've had time to download the image from the internet. Or the Picasso will also do some managing of caching. So maybe you have it from before and you're getting it from cache, or maybe you're downloading it from the web, but either way, it might take a little time. And this is the image, the placeholder is the image you will use in the meantime until the resource has become available. The .error is an image that you will use if the download or retrieving something from the cache were to fail in some way. Then you use the image you find in .error, and then finally the into, putting it into the image view. So just a couple of more, slightly more elaborate version of the Picasso placeholder and the error images. And that's what I wanted to show you. So thank you very much for your attention.